A very warm good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Evening Review Show. I'm your host, Matthias Haufiko. Well, tonight we talk security matters. There's been a proliferation of course, security companies, and the industry has grown over the years as far as that operation is concerned. And for that, we have in studio tonight the Acting Secretary General of the National Security Guards Protection Unit, Mr. Mekupi Kandorozu. Good evening and welcome, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for availing me time to be here with you.
No, it's good to have you here. Yeah. This is, of course, a topic of interest that we would always have to, we'd like to have more insight on as well.
Yeah.
You've issued a statement, your union has issued a statement in recent days regarding the conditions under which the industry operate, and those within it, of course, key being the security guards that are a core component of this sector.
Yeah.
You've outlined certain challenges that you feel should be addressed in the industry.
Yeah.
One of those is the absence of a security regulatory framework, which you think would then enhance the work of those in the industry. Can you just give us a brief synopsis as to how your union decided to really take up this fight?
Yeah, it has been a daunting task for a couple of years. We are now 10 years old, and as a result of that, we came across a lot of issues which concern the guards, and which we thought should be addressed to an extent that I had to write a letter. I wrote a letter in 2018 to the then Minister of Labor, Ms. Doreen Sioka, where we requested and to check with them whether there was a regulatory framework for security. I got a response. We got a response from the acting secretary, a permanent secretary then, which we call today the executive director, Mr. Wilbur Tusiku. They responded to us. They wrote us a letter to say there was a regulatory framework for security industry. After a few years, 2018 to 2023, we received an invitation from the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration and Safety and Security, which was now like, the invitation was based on, there is a bill which was going to be tabled. And we had to come to Windhoek. And when I say we, I'm talking about all the trade unions, to come and have an input in this draft, document. And that tells you that all along, there hasn't been anything in the industry of security which was supposed to look after the interests of the workers. And that was our great concern.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, there has been unions operating in this industry already.
Yeah.
What brought about the need for you and your team to really sit around the table and say, I think we must join this fight?
One wouldn't want to be too critical of, our colleagues, or however, I could tell that there is a need for us to come up with this trade union to assist the guards, because many a times one would hear about low wages. Some of these low wages, the wages are already low and they don't come on time. At an agreed time. There is virtually no proper, talks about benefits to these guards. These people are just working from hand to mouth.
Yeah.
And that's why we thought, now, why can't we, establish this union in order for us to investigate as to exactly what is happening. And that is the only platform we could use to try to figure out what is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of us never really grasp the concerns when security guards sort of demonstrate and so on. when they complain about the low wages,
Yes.
no fringe benefits,
Yes.
the issue of public holidays not being adhered to, they have to work on those days and so on. So we never really grasp, are these really genuine concerns? Can you maybe share with us the situation on the ground, how it is? Is it really as dire as they make it seem to be?
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it is very, very, very bad. I would tell you one of the many things, apart from what you just mentioned, very important. Some of these guards and many companies don't have even contractual agreements with their workers. A person works for a company for over a period of 5 years, even up to 10 years. Some don't have these contractual agreements. And that is a concern, because if this person is involved in anything which is wrong, maybe he did something wrong with a company, at the company, and you have to open up a case to sort of go and represent this person. You go to the Labor Commissioner's office. We are seated there. The dispute is on the table. The arbitrator would ask something like, did you sign a contract with a company? And the employee would say, no, we don't have a contract. And this is a concern, because I think it has become a norm instead of an exception, because many companies, and the question is, what is the ministry, and I'm sure the Ministry of Labor is aware of this. And why is the Ministry of Labor not trying to investigate and find out what the people are complaining about? So there are numerous issues which of condition of employment which are really not addressed at all. And that is the concern for us. Yes.
But there are several laws already in place to protect workers.
Yes.
Why do you think a framework why do you think a framework is the solution to all these challenges that you are mentioning? That the existing laws cannot do?
Let me give you a scenario. You would find that a guard is employed, for instance, over a period of maybe 3-4 months. This guard is dismissed because there is nothing of which the companies are afraid, because there is nobody regulating them. There is no regulation. These loopholes. I think the companies are making use of these loopholes of the non-existence of this regulatory framework. So if the industry is regulated, obviously everybody should adhere to the rules which are set out there. Yes.
So do you think employers are deliberately making sure that they don't sign these employment contracts with the guards?
I wouldn't know. However, I think they are taking advantage of that loophole which I just mentioned earlier. Because if there is a loophole, and because if you sign an agreement, obviously you both of you have to stick to the agreement. And if there is no agreement, obviously they will take advantage of that. And I think that is, some of them are definitely deliberately doing that, because they know at the end of the day they don't want to be held accountable. And that is what is happening. Yes.
So how would you describe the response from government so far?
Unfortunately, our union personally, we didn't really approach the government with regard to that. I wouldn't say we did. However, I suspect the government is aware of this, and I think this is really not good. Because there are people in leadership position, they know what is supposed to be done, and when people are crying out there, there should be a reaction from the Ministry of Labor, and nothing is forthcoming. Yes.
We've seen over the years also the security contracts and tenders that were dished out. Some of the biggest ones are for government institutions, to guard government institutions.
Yes.
What sort of role do you think can government play in that regard, as far as maybe, if we consider now the framework you're talking about, whether it's including it maybe as a contractual obligation for a security company to have maybe contracts or fringe benefits for security guards? Is this something worth looking into?
Yeah, it is. It could be an ideal situation because if it is like a parastatal where the government is also having a say in it, obviously the guards will benefit from that. Yeah. Especially when you look at pension, fringe, these benefits like pension, medical aid, house allowance, at least, if that could be, affected and be influenced, that would be a good thing. And as you quite correctly said, if these tenders are given by the government, at least the government should have some sort of control or influence to the benefit of the workers, because currently the situation is very dire when it comes to the salaries of the workers. It's below par. Yeah, nothing is happening there. Yeah.
Okay. I saw one of the concerns that were outlined in your letters, which is quite concerning, is the issue of where you mentioned that guards are given guns, but they're not trained as far as handling those weapons, as far as it is concerned.
Yeah.
How should this be dealt with?
It's a good question. What we did, we had written a letter to the then Lieutenant Inspector Deitunga. That was 2021, I suppose, I think. And at least we got we got some sort of a response where he instructed the current Lieutenant Inspector General to call us, and they did. He called us, but that was just that. Nothing, came of it later.
Yeah.
Now, we have noticed with great concern. That's why we had written that letter, where we outlined or requested the institution to give us a little bit of something like what the laws say with regard to security guards carrying guns. And seriously, we haven't seen any shooting ranges in the north where we are based, where you would say, no, these people are taken and they are taken through the ropes to be shown as to how to handle a gun and to dismantle it and all that. There is no such.
Yeah.
And we had seen a lot of these security guards tucking their guns in their trousers, just like that. No holsters. And then we also asked something like, if a security guard at his work maybe accidentally shoot a person or a thief or whatever, who is responsible? Who's carrying the license? How is the security guard licensed? Or should he or she depend on the owner of the company and all that? And the training, I'm quite sure that many of them have told us they are not getting any training. They are just told how to dismantle, how to put in the ammunition, and that's it. So it's a risk. It's a high risk. And we also thought of psychologically, mentally, are these people trained to handle that kind of, a weapon without proper training? These are concerns to us. We haven't received any response as we requested on black and white from current, even now, late last year, from the Inspector General's office. And we are concerned about that.
Yeah.
Yes, we really, we are going to take it up. We are not going to let it go like that silently. We have to push the Inspector General to give us answers as to what should happen to these guards, because this is not, the Wild West, whatever you call it, where people are carrying guns like in America. Yeah.
Before we go for a short commercial break, I'd like to know from you, what would your recommendation be as far as licensing is concerned?
Licensing for
these guns, like you mentioned, who carries this burden and so on?
I do not know what the law says. That is a tricky question because normally the one who buys the gun should carry the license.
Yeah.
Now the guards are not buying the guns; they are given these guns. So I do not know whether there should be a policy or regulatory, kind of framework which should now direct the owner of the company how it should be done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll head for a short commercial break and we'll continue this conversation. To our viewers, we head for a short commercial break and we'll continue this very interesting and insightful conversation. Stay tuned. Welcome from the short break. Mr. Kandorozu, if we shall continue our conversation, of course, the Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security Ministry has embarked on the Security Service Providers Bill, which I believe also caters for your industry.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had sight of the bill.
Yeah.
What did you make of it? Is it? Do you think it's on the right track?
Yeah, we went through the bill. We took some notes. I don't have it here. It's back home in the north. But when you look at it broadly, one could tell that the content is really very good. It could curtail a lot of things which are happening currently. Yeah. So if it could be brought to the table, and then maybe we take it further. Our inputs would be considered and all that, and then maybe be taken to cabinet, as they said. It should go to cabinet first before it could be tabled in parliament. It would be a good thing. It is actually very important for us to have a document like that one. Yes.
Okay. So the framework, of course, the issue of benefits is a big, huge conversation in the industry.
Yes.
Because guards also feel that in the end they walk away with nothing.
Yeah.
Whether they go into retirement or whether they resign or so. What type of regulations or policies do you have in mind for that?
For us, we really don't have kind of policies. However, our thoughts are based on the real value or the real thing, and that is to say, each and every person who works expect, at least at the end of the day, at the end of your age limit, to go home with something.
Yeah.
And when I say something, I'm referring specifically to a pension fund. This is something which should be included even in that bill, which would be obligatory for each and every company. However, there is a twist there as well, because you would realize that many security guards, either they are on temporary basis, or the tender which they get, the company gets, is also for a short period of time, which now might not give you, that leverage of getting pension. And that's why we sort of, in our case, we have a policy which talk about and I discussed this with one company, where we talk about that if a guard has worked for a company for 5 years and more, the company should at least consider to employ this person permanently. You would find that there are people who have 20 years in the company, and they are paid $3,000. And then you have a scenario where you have a new person who just came in the company, he's getting similar amount, which is very unfair. Now, this person has been working for the company for over 20 years, and we have them. I'm not just talking for the sake of talking. We have these people, especially in the north where I'm from. And the policy which should be put in this bill, at least that pension and house allowance, I think these two are very critical. So that at least when this person retires or whatever, at least he has something to talk about. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. In your statement that you issued on that was that on the 7th, you also mentioned that there is a need for the three ministries involved. You've mentioned Home Affairs, Labor, and Trade, to host a sort of an indaba.
Yes.
To put heads together as to how this industry can be developed and regulated.
Yeah.
What is your thinking around a proposal of that nature?
We have been thinking about, you see, we look at what are the roles and functions of these ministries. For example, the Ministry of Immigration, Home Affairs, Immigration and Safety and Security is basically talking about safety and security. And the Ministry of Labor is also intertwined. They are linking up these three ministries. Yeah. While the Ministry of Trade is the one which is basically registering the companies. Now, we thought of if these three ministries could come together and look at the manner in which, for example, this mushrooming of security companies are coming into being, should be looked at, and you say, if a security company is to be registered, there should be certain requirements. Yeah. You would realize that many a times, many security companies, especially from our people, when I say our people, I mean our black people who are having security companies. This person has been a security guard, and after he resigned, he starts his own security company. Many a times, many of them, and I'm respectfully saying this, many of them are not literate. Yeah. Many of them are not literate. They don't know the law. He had this idea of making money, and then he stands up, make his company, and there he goes. After a short while, this person is taking advantage of the workers. He was in the same position. And the question is, when these security companies are registered to operate, is there a criteria which they are following, or the requirements which they have to meet in order for them to be registered? You're looking at the owner of the company, the qualification this person has, the experience what this person has, and then of course, the company itself. So that's why we thought the Ministry of Trade at least has to look into who is coming to register his or her company. Yeah. Who's this person? At the same time, the Ministry of Labor has also to take care of what is happening with regard to the labor issues. While the other one, of course, the safety and security, should take care of all the security issues. Yeah. That's why we thought if these three ministers could come together and think about this thing holistically, it could influence a lot of things. Yeah. Yeah, which could be to the benefit of the workers. Yes.
What in your view is the impact of the mushrooming of, like you said, the mushrooming of security companies? What is the impact on the industry?
Sometimes when you look a little bit further, you will realize that, number one, I think they are thinking of, okay, some people are just there to make business. But from my point of view, I can realize that they also create job opportunities for our people. Yes. which is okay. The only misfortune is the mistreatment of the workers, the way how they handle these security companies. And due to the fact that they are not regulated, there's nobody stopping them from doing what. You will find that a driver who's driving a security car, driving this, ferrying the security guards, is unlicensed. Yes, we have situations like that here in Windhoek. And I was told by the security guards themselves, and I was shocked. And I had to call this owner of the company and say, and he was threatening me with certain things. And I said, you are threatening me, but your drivers, 3 of them don't have licenses. So let's just not go there. Yeah. Let's just try to work together so that we can, help our people. But what is currently happening is the mushrooming of the security company without any regulation is a no-go area. Yeah, there should be some sort of control mechanisms to be put in place in order for this security industry to be running smoothly. And currently, as we speak, it's not good at all. Yeah. Yes, it's not. Okay. Yes.
So maybe just lastly, of course, we do know that security guards are often the first point of safety and security at premises, whether it's businesses.
Yes, yes.
That's now before the police and everyone else comes in. So would you say we are not giving enough attention to this sector as critical as it is?
No, it is not. But before maybe I come to that, and you should remind me, I'm an old man. There's very critical, something very critical which I want to mention. That is the transportation of security guards. Yeah. They are transported in the CIT vehicles, especially in the north. CIT, which is cash in transit. Yeah. These vehicles don't have windows or anything. It's just a small hole up there for ventilation. Yeah. You will find 10 people are packed in there, and we have tangible cases. And this is a great concern to an extent that I had written a letter to Mr. Mutorwa, the Minister of Transport. And he responded positively to us and informed us what to do. And then we had to do what we had to do, and that was to write a letter to the commissioner of the police that was now in the north. Yeah. And the police commissioner went and sent people to check and this, and then they wrote us a letter which was unsatisfactory because they say these cars are there. The owners don't want the people to know that they are transporting money. What is that? How could you transport money and people in that vehicle? And this specific company, which I'm having in mind, was having 2 minibuses. They removed them. They bought this white with closed canopies. Luckily, they responded also. They put now a small ventilation here on the sides of the canopy, but it's not adequate. You cannot put people in that at all. Yeah. So that is the bad part of it, and something which has to be looked at. Okay. What did you say the other thing is?
Just whether we are taking this industry serious, considering its importance.
Yeah, the security industry is very important because this country will not run in a day without security guards. Yeah. The moment we tell the security guards to down their guns, if you like, and say we are not going to work, things are going to be stolen. This country will be ransacked. Security guards are very, very important people. The security industry is very important. However, there should be harmonization of this industry, where the employer and the employee should work together, including the unions. Yeah. Yes, we have something which I want to say lastly, and that is to say, some security companies, as we speak, they are refusing us access to address the workers at the workplace as per the Labor Act. Section 65(2) ABC is there to say the employer shouldn't unreasonably deny a trade union which is registered to have access to the workers for a short period of time. Yeah. Just to sort of inform very briefly And that's it. Not to recruit, but just to give information. And many companies are doing that, and we are very concerned about that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Kandorozu, thank you very much for your time this evening, and we wish you well in your going forward.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. To our viewers, that is from the Evening Review team. See you again tomorrow, same time, same place.